Swing state early voting. We're on it. So are the campaigns. Battleground, Georgia, certainly one of the places that we're watching. And we were just looking at some of the latest data to come out of there, and it shows that 2 million plus in terms of the people voting there have already voted. So, you know, percentage-wise, is about 30% of the voters in Georgia or more than that. And speaking of Georgia, the Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to be hosting this star-studded rally there tonight alongside former President Barack Obama, but also Bruce Springsteen and Tyler Perry, Spike Lee, Samuel L. Jackson. So this is what we've seen from the Democrats. We've seen it in past campaigns as well. They like to do this, roll out the big names in the closing stretch of a campaign. As for Donald Trump, he's also in a key swing state today, looking to keep the momentum that we've been talking about going, taking the stage about 2 hours from now. He'll be in Tempe, Arizona. Now, speaking of Trump's momentum, okay, the former president now holds at least a slight lead in all 7 of the toss-up states that we follow so closely when you look at the average of the polls. Here's the thing, though. All 7 are still within the margin of error, and that's why we've been calling this a close race. Now, to be fair, upon further review, the truth is we really don't know for sure if it's close or it'll be close, at least in the Electoral College, so we might want to change the way we characterize it a little bit and ask this question: is it close, or is it simply, looking at the numbers here, just unpredictable at this point? 52% win probability for Trump, just under 48% on your win probability for Harris. In terms of those 2 states that I mentioned, I think it makes this point about the mixed signals that the campaigns are looking at about how the race could still tilt fairly strong in one direction or another. So we were talking there about Georgia and Arizona. So the Georgia early vote, again, a lot of people are looking at this. Win probability for Trump in Georgia has gone down a little bit, 62%. His polling average lead is under 1 point of the average. So, you know, what the GOP likes is the fact that they're looking at this saying, all right, all the early voting is up in Georgia. Maybe the Republicans are really adopting it this time. They're open to it. That might be true. Democrats look at it, and they look at the gender breakdown and say that the early vote's been something like 55% female. And they say, well, maybe that's advantage Harris. So it's mixed, and it's tough to tell what the message really is. The other state that we were talking about, of course, was Arizona. Now, Arizona's interesting because the win probability there, you remember a few weeks ago, was literally a toss-up, like 50-50. But now Trump's trends have been great, 58%, polling average lead up to 1.4% in the average. So that's what the Republicans look at. They love that in Arizona. The trends, they say, are their friends. Now, the Democrats say, wait a minute here. There's something to watch in Arizona that could be a sleeper issue as we take you back to the 2020 presidential election, when we all remember what happened in the state of Arizona. Joe Biden turned it blue just barely with that 10,000 vote advantage over Donald Trump. And the sleeper issue that we're hearing more and more about in Arizona or the tribal communities. You know, when we do a census data breakdown of the state, a lot of times we'll focus on what the Hispanic vote is. See, Native American vote at 3.9%. You see 3.6% is the Asian vote, Pacific Islander 0.2%. So the tribal communities are at over 4% of the vote in Arizona, and there are 22 federally recognized tribes. So it's become an issue in the Senate race, that Gallego versus Kari Lake Senate race. And we just found out moments ago that President Biden tomorrow has an event focused on indigenous people. Where? In the state of Arizona. Again, it's just something to throw into the mix that we might be watching. And it brings us back as a final point to where we always go, our prediction map. And we have the 7 toss-up states in yellow, everything else red or blue or shaded one way or the other. You know, you've heard me say it before. Oh, Pennsylvania. If Pennsylvania turns into a red state, Trump has an 85% chance of winning instead of 52. If it turns into or stays as a blue state, Kamala Harris, 85% instead of 48, and these other states fill in. But the one way that might be easier to make the point, and this could be close. I mean, it could be 269, 269. It could be 270-something, 260-something. It also, at this point, could easily tilt in one direction or another. 2016 map. This could happen. Again, Trump could win all 3 if you look at the odds of the so-called blue wall states. Make them red. Remember, he won 6 of the 7 toss-ups that time. The only one he lost was Nevada, and we just showed you it's not beyond the realm of possibility that that one goes red. This could be your map, right? Trump could win it. This would be an easy win in the Electoral College, 313 to 225, but just as easily, especially because of the issue of reproductive rights, which you're going to hear from a lot tomorrow from the vice president. This could be your map. This was the 2020 recreation of the Biden map. The only swing state he lost was North Carolina with 16. So if that went blue, it's not crazy to think you could be 319 for the Dems. So the point is, don't be surprised on election night if any of these things happen. Yes, close race, probably. Again, to me, more of an unpredictable race. That's what we're looking at. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.